Welcome back to my channel, guys. How are you this morning? It's 12 a.m. in the morning. And I just wanted to come back and talk a little bit about my family, the continuation of my marriage that I posted earlier. I want to talk a bit about that. So I just want to start off by saying that I'm grateful and I'm thankful for what God has done in my marriage, with my marriage, and through my marriage. I thank God for just allowing us to be able to come back together, just to be able to see each other, just to be able to talk to each other, just to be able to feel each other, just to be able to spend time with each other. It's truly a blessing that He spared my husband's life about 2 months ago. On July 16th, he died. He died of an overdose. They brought him back with the Narcan. But I want to say that I know that God was in it. And I didn't take to the news lightly that he overdosed because I wasn't expecting that. I know he was on drugs, but I didn't know to the extreme. My husband would stay out all sorts of nights. Some nights I never saw him. It was days I never saw him. He was going like 6 to 5 days at a time. He wouldn't answer his phone. It was hard to get him to come home. He didn't want to, it was almost like he didn't want to bring those issues that he was dealing with home. So not only did I suffer or my kids suffer, but my grandkids that loves him a lot suffered. And so even as God made the way for us to come back together, but that day when I got the call that he fell out, and that when I got to the hospital, I took my time getting there. But prior to all of this happening, I ended up going on a fast for 15 days. God spoke in my spirit to go on a fast for 15 days. So I went on a fast for 15 days. But then I didn't know how to go on a fast. So then one of the bishops that I watch was going on his fast for 21 to 40 days. So I decided to, instead of to do 15 days, I did 21 days. And so 1 meal a day. First I started out 7 days with no food, just water and juice. And then I ended up, going into 1 meal a day. And I tried to fast. I fast and I tried to stay before God with my situations. And, but before I went on a fast, I just told God I'm going on a fast for my husband and people in my family. So when I went on the fast, this day, this lady called me who was friends with my husband and started to say, oh, well, he fell out. So he fell out. They took him to the hospital. I took my time getting to the hospital for some reason. And then I actually ended up saying, well, let me go and check on him. So when I went, I didn't want to go in the back because I was furious, guys. I was mad because I was like, to myself, how did you let yourself get in this predicament? How would you do this to us and our family? And then, I talked to the doctor, was like, hey, do you want to go in the back? Nope, I don't want to go in the back. Okay, I could just tell you what happened. The doctor said, I'll just tell you what happened. So he was like, your husband died. We had to bring him back with the Narcan. And I was in awe because I just couldn't believe, not my husband, he wouldn't do that. He wouldn't, this wouldn't happen to him. It would, And so I know my prayer was, God, I'm going in on a fast for my husband. So whatever you have to do. And I guess, sometimes when you put out something for God to do, you have to be mindful and you have to be specific on how you want God to handle it, because God will do it His way. And so this time I was like, oh my God, I started to think, well, how did this happen and why did this happen? And then not paying attention to, God's going to do what He's going to do to get your attention. So we were back there. I didn't go back there. I went back the next day to check on my husband. And just to see how he was, and he was doing good, and he told him he didn't want to leave. He wanted a program. He said this all on his own, many and numerous of times I would be like, hey, you need to go on a program. But this time it was his doing. He wanted this. He wanted to help. He wanted to be better. He wanted to be clean. And so they ended up putting him in the program for like 53 days, you know, and he came out, you know, but the whole time he was in this program, he cried out. He cried to me, and he was just all teary-eyed. He was emotional. He was emotional, just saying, you know, going day by day for what God was doing to him and how God was, you know, doing what God was doing in his life. So right now, today, guys, he's clean. He's been almost like, I want to say like 2 months going to 3 months clean. And so what I can say is, to God be the glory. I'm happy. I'm thankful. I'm grateful. Had it not have been for God doing what he did, the way he did what he did, I don't think my husband would be here. I don't know how we would have got along without him. But I'm thanking God that he spared his life. I know it wasn't me. I know, you know, the Narcan could have did it with Jesus' help. So right now, we've been married. It'll be 31 years in December. We've been together 35 years. We got married young, like I stated in the previous video. I talked about how we met, and we were young and we grew up together. I never really got a chance to live my teenage years because I was with him, and, you know, we were trying to get to know each other and love on each other. But right now, today, you know, my husband is drug-free. And I'm thanking God for taking away whatever he got on his knees and asked God to do. He told God he didn't want to get high anymore, and God is doing the work. And I know it's God, because when you know that you know that you know, a complete work will happen. And I just believe that that's what God has done, a complete work in my husband. He don't have no cravings, and I thank God for that. His desires is to be with his grandchildren, is to be with his children, is to be with me, is to just be with us as a family, hang around his family. And, you know, he just wants to do whatever he you know, has to do to stay straight. He's on his meetings every day. I also go in and listen in the meetings, because some of the conversations that these people have, drug addiction, some people are clean for 30 and 40 years. And yet they're keeping them connected. The whole key to this thing is to stay connected. And so I'm just grateful that he was able to connect to this. The name of the group is the Constant Contact. He got numbers. You know, they tell him if you need to talk, if you feel like you're going to have an urge. You know, I thank God for this program, because the people, they reach out and they see how you doing, and they, oh, excuse me, guys. They see what you're doing, and they keep up on top of you, and they ask you how you doing, and they ask you, you know, they tell you how to go about it and how to just stick in there. And I like the program. I often hear plenty of stories how people say they're higher power. They have 12 steps. I think it's 12 or 11 steps that they go by. And a lot of people, I mean, this thing is really, oh my God, the hundreds of people that come together just for support and encouragement, and just to be able to go forward. It's a great thing. And to watch my husband interact and hear stories and even speak and talk about the things that he went through, to be able to help someone. Because, you know, every day somebody's new is coming into this meeting. Somebody new is coming in contact with this group that he's in. And so I'm just talking about my husband and my family today, and to say that I'm grateful, because my marriage was in shambles. My marriage was ripped apart. It was not good at all. I wanted to give up so many times. I wanted a divorce. But I thought about, if I left, how I don't think he would have survived. And I thought about, you know, me being with someone else, and I just thought about how I didn't want to be with nobody else, and how I thought about my vows, for better or for worse, for sickness and in health, and to death do us part. I thought about that. I thought about, I want to be with my husband. So, Lord, I ask you to, I constantly prayed for God to do it. And I just believe he did the work. So I'm happy with the man that God has given me today, the sober man, the man that tries to cater to my feelings, and the man that tries to love me unconditional, the man that wants to now spend time with me. I could never get him to spend time with me, but now he does it without a problem. We just went out of town because his aunt's husband died, and we took a road trip down to Baltimore, and it was me and him and my daughter and my granddaughter, and it was just nice. It was just somewhere, something to connect. Because, mind you guys, he never did anything with me. He didn't want to be with me. He never wanted to spend time with me. We wasn't intimate at all. He just didn't care to be around me at all. And when I saw him, it was always 6 to 5 days later, high out of his mind, sleeping for days, sleeping for 2 days, get up and he's running again, doing the same thing over and over. I thank God right now for deliverance from my husband, that we was just, we can have conversations. He talks to me. He talks to me. I don't know how to tell you guys. It hasn't always been like this. We never could talk. We never was on the same page. We never could have a conversation. He was a straight a-hole. He never, ever, ever, he started to lack in telling me how he felt about me. And I long for him to say, hey, I love you. Hey, how's your day? And this and that. And just to feel like I'm loved and to feel like I'm cared. I did never feel like that until now. Like, this experience my husband had took him on a journey to come back and love me like I should be loved, and take care of me like I need to be taken care of. And on these drugs my husband had, he lost his job when I had COVID. They stripped him. He got stripped down to the lowest of lows. He had a truck that was taken. He lost his job. Everything just went to the left. And so I'm just grateful that he got a job. He's doing good. He's doing great. You guys have seen him on my page. If you had seen the before him and the now him, you'll be able to say, I know. You'll be able to look at him and tell what God has done. And so I'm just thankful tonight. I'm just grateful. I'm just ecstatic that I have the husband that I've been asking God for. At least I feel like that. Marriage is not all peaches and cream. We're going to go through our ups and downs. We're going to go through difficulties. We're going to have little spits and spats here. But one thing I'm grateful that God allowed us time, because all this ripping and running that he was doing, we never was together. We never was in each other's company. Never. I was going, he was coming. I was coming, he was going. And that's just how it was. I really tried to argue anymore when he was in his wild career, I would call it. But now he's just he has issues now with learning how to not be, he just like to have fun, whether I should say. He's always laughing. He's always joking. That's the type of guy he is. He loves to laugh. He loves to joke. And I'm just thanking God for the new guy that I have. I'm thanking God for the new man that I've always asked God to give me. And I just had to trust God through it. I had to trust God through the process. Nobody likes the process. It's the others. When you get to the other side, the process was all well worth it. So I had to get in a place where I had to trust God for my husband, for my marriage, for us. I had to get in that place where I had to just say, okay, God, I got to trust you. And I got to take my hands off. I got to take my mouth off. I got to take my emotions out of this. And I got to give it to you. And then when he said fast, I was able to fast. And I was humble with everything that my husband went through. I was humble. I wasn't screaming. I wasn't kicking. I wasn't slapping the wall. I wasn't doing all of that. I just knew that I knew Well, I didn't know that I know because I forgot that I was fasting. But when I came around, I was like, I fasted this whole time. And this was the time that God allowed everything to happen the way it happened. And so here we are, guys, together. He's working, I'm working. We're trying to build again. We're trying to do all that we have to do. And so, with my kids, I have a 33-year-old now, and I have a 24-year-old. And we have our grandchildren. We have 2 girls and a boy. And I'm just, I'm just happy that we're all together. We're all able to be together. We're all able to see each other. We're all able to just be in the same place sometimes. Or let's go. Let's go. I'm so happy that I can get up and say to my husband, let's go to breakfast. And we go to breakfast and we spend a little time here and there. I'm grateful. Y'all don't understand. I'm grateful today for God giving me the man that he desires for me. I believe God did this to show me that he's God and he can do anything. He can't even fail at nothing. I just had to trust him. I just had to believe him. I just had to obey him. Obedience is better than sacrifice. Obedience is better than sacrifice. And so I'm just coming tonight to say that this God that I serve is an awesome God. And I'm grateful tonight. I'm grateful this morning. And we've been dealing a lot in our family with my oldest granddaughter. She's 7. And we're going through a little bit of issues and different things with her. And I know it's gonna cost me to go back into prayer, or, have prayer with her, or be able to have a different approach. And so I'm just asking God to help us as a family to come together on one accord. I have my 24-year-old daughter who's Samaya's mom, and she deals with a lot of anger stuff, a lot of anger issues. And so I just thank God for giving my husband back to us, giving my husband back to us too, so that he can keep some type of calm in the family, or he'll keep some type of understanding in the family, or even some at a better place, being able to come together, being able to talk, being able to understand, because he's here, and because it's logic, and because it's no arguing, it's no fussing, it's none of that. It's coming together. He's really big on family, guys. He just loves his family. And I'm thanking God for just giving us that, giving us something we never had, so that this love, man can't give it and man can't take it away. And so giving us something that we never had before, because I never had this man before. Like I said earlier in the previous video, the drugs had him, the world had him, his friends had him, the rehabs had him, the drug addiction programs had him. I never got a chance for him to be just totally mine, except for right now. And I'm grateful and I'm thankful. And I'm just asking you all just to pray with us. And if this video helps someone to just say, hey, yes, that's what I'm going through, you can reach out to me on my Instagram page and my DM, and you can ask me any questions you will have to ask me. I can answer and clarify as much as I can, because I'm doing this to help somebody else. I'm doing this to let you know that because I went through it, nothing was too hard for God. And even with our grandchildren, we have my grandson that's trying to try new things, and I thank God for just bringing my husband back into the fold, bringing him back, bringing him to us, bringing him back, because now he's able to help my oldest daughter with her son. He's able to help my youngest daughter with her daughter. We have another little granddaughter, Ami. You probably saw her on my page. And I just really want to be a help to somebody who's dealing with something like this, who's dealing with substance issues, substance abuse. I thank God for my mind. I thank God that I didn't get high. I thank God that my mindset was not to even go in that realm. I thank God for just being able to look after my mother. And even my mother, she's dealing with breast cancer, and it's hard for her to stop some of the things that she's doing. I mean, just being able to, my husband being a great support there, just being able with me when I have to go visit my mom or when I have to talk to my mom, he's there to just be there for me for moral support. And I thank him for that. I thank him for being there for just even when I'm having an issue and he say, calm down and it's going to be all right. Or he give me a logic. He gives me logic behind the situation and I get the situation a little bit better. So he's been that man that I just want to say that God has given me, because I never knew that this guy existed until he died in July, on that July 16th, and God brought him back. And this is the man God brought him back here. And now we're able to communicate. And some days, sometimes I get stubborn and I don't want to hear it. But I'm grateful that God has just did it. He's a strategic God. He's a loving God. He's a kind God. He's a sovereign God. He's the God that knows all and sees all. He's a God that sits high and look low. He knows everything about us. So when we think we getting over, he sees it all. But I'm just thankful today. I'm grateful today. I don't know what else to say. I'm happy. I'm happy to see him smile. I'm happy that I have to encourage him from time to time. But that's what we're supposed to do, because we're the helpmeet. I'm thankful that I could tell him, hey, I'm proud of you. Hey, you're doing good. I'm happy I can talk to my husband. I'm happy we can sit down and have a conversation, because before we couldn't have a conversation, before we couldn't talk, before we couldn't stand one another. I mean, it was just everything. And I just feel like God made marriage for man and a woman. He made us one, because he said it's not good that man shall be alone. So he pulled woman out of the side of man and made woman. And I'm thanking God for just helping me with my husband, because every day it's not a struggle. It's not hard. I guess I was always in that place thinking that, that I thought that he was going to go back. After he said everything that he said, I was thinking he was going to go back. But no. And something said to me in my spirit, when God do a work, he do a complete work. He don't have to do anything. So I'm grateful that y'all don't understand. I keep saying it and keep saying it, because if you guys knew where I came from. I mean, I met my husband when I was like 16. Yeah, 16. I met him when I was 16. We got together when I was 17. And he was doing drugs when I met him, but I didn't understand what it was. I used to see my uncles and them do drugs, but to actually experience somebody getting high and me not knowing it, because I thought I knew or thought that I was doing something, I would bring him the drugs without me understanding what I was doing. This is what I was doing. And so, because, I say this, and we can, you can quote me if you don't think I'm right. I say love make you do some crazy things. And I just want you guys to know I love my husband today. I love my mother. I really want my mother to live, but when I think about, it has to be God's will and not mine. I can say all day, I want this, but what is God saying? My mother has breast cancer, and she don't want to give up some of the things that she don't want to give up her smoking. She don't want to give up her drinking. And I get kind of frustrated, but I know that I just believe that God's going to take care of my mom no matter what it looked like. I just believe it. I believe it with every inch of me that he's going to take care of my mom. And so that's where I'm at in life, guys. Just learning how to balance it out, maintain it. Sometimes it become overwhelming and I have to just take a step back and breathe. It's not supposed to overwhelm me. And so I don't want to be crying or none of that. I just want to be strong for my mother, strong for my grandmother. I mean, strong for my granddaughter. I'm sorry, strong for my husband. I know I'm only one person, but just to know how to handle that strength within me to be there for all of them is something I'm asking God to give me, because I don't know how. I don't know what to do. So I'm thankful tonight, guys. Once again, I keep saying I'm thankful because I am. I'm grateful. Yes, because I am. I'm thankful for just being able to, just to be able to just be here in the land of the living to experience what God has done for my husband and to my husband. And he's just been a mighty God to me. And so I'm asking you all, pray for my granddaughter because it's a lot. Pray for my mother because it's a lot. Pray for my whole entire family because it's a lot. But I'm also grateful at the same time that he's just been a great and mighty God. He's been great. He's been kind. And I'm not saying it just to say it. I tried him for myself, and I know that he will do it for you if you allow him to. And so if this video reaches whoever it reaches and it helps somebody, I will be most grateful that it helped the person that it was supposed to help. Just, love, yes, and I had that me problem too. I never put me first. I always put everybody else first. So, now when you hear stuff and it's like, a little, when I think about us coming back together, I try to keep the peace. I really do, guys. I really do try to keep the peace because God didn't have to do it. And so it's up to me now to learn how to be humble, learn how to love him, learn when he says, hey, let me get this time to myself, learn how to give him his naps, learn how to, accept whatever he's, because, he's going hard now for what he wants. So my job is to be his backbone. My job is to be there to help him, encourage, and see him through this process. Because I listened to somebody on here today from one of the meetings, and he said he was clean about 40 years. He said he got clean back in 1989. So therefore, he was getting high and drinking early on in his life. And so when I think of everything how God just did it, just put different things in order that my husband can just make it through without having to go back. Oh my God, what a mighty God I serve. I'm telling you. I'm just asking God to continue to keep us, guys. So I'm asking you all, subscribe to my channel. Make sure that notification bell in the corner is turned on so when I go live, you guys will know. Like and comment. Let me know what you thought about this video. Let me know, you could also go to my Instagram and leave me a DM you can leave something in my DM, or if you want to talk on Facebook, you can go to my Facebook page and, you can write me something there if you would like to talk. I just want to thank you all for who's gonna look at this by replay, and those of us who it will help, it will inspire, it will let people know we can all make it if we trust and believe. And with that being said, good night, guys.